How's it going, guys? Joined here
Real
with
good.
Adeptus Mike B from the Temple of the Backwards Tree. How you doing today?
Real good, Steve Green. Real good. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. Thanks for coming, man. All right, let's kick it off. How long have you been practicing magic for, Mike?
Okay, I don't have the ability to lay claim to straight blocks of years. I would say from maybe 12 to 17, 21 to 26, 33 to 40, and 40 to 43. Whatever that adds up. So I'm feeling like 15, 20 years.
It adds up to enough. That's for sure.
You take time off on the path sometimes. So, I mean, I'm like you guys. I've been at it my whole life. I had the awakening when I was in my teens. Had a family that tried to have Southern Baptist interventions and burn my tarot decks, tell me I was going to hell. That was pretty awesome. Yeah. Next question.
So is that kind of what interested you then, was sort of the swinging of the pendulum in the other direction?
Bro, I'm going to keep it real with you. The only thing that I've ever wanted in my entire life was power. Power to change what I thought was wrong, the power to confront people that were much stronger than me, the power to change the order of things to be more to my liking. Power, brother, power used with conscience has been my goal. Yeah. Never been.
Yeah, I mean, hey, can't fault you for being honest about it. What are your favorite types of magic to practice? What kind of things do you normally like to get into?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Fuck. Yeah, that was a lumpy cigarette, so I just had to throw that one. I prefer wealth, dignities, employment, reconciliation, and divination. Those are my really big strong suits. I was really deficient in a couple of areas, but I have shored those up because you have a choice to double down on strengths or shore up weaknesses, and it depends on how deficient you are and how serious it is. I prefer to build, not destroy. I prefer to bolster and to add value to my brother, not destroy his value, not to take his dignity away or defame him. That's not what I came here to do.
So that takes care of the next question, which is, what's your least favorite type of magic?
It was love magic because I was a bummy fuck with it, man. I really wasn't comfortable. And I had to sit down with Citri. And Citri and I do not have a pleasant past, but we have a good working relationship right now. And I said, Citri, I'm going to work with you for 6 months, 3 hours a week. You're going to guide me to where I need to be. And I'm going to learn from you as a mentor on lust and love magic. And I really boned up good. Then I have some good teachers like Laurel Spider, who really put me in and brought my game up tremendously. So, we don't ever stop learning, man. And if we do, then the game is over.
Absolutely. Yeah, Laurel's awesome. She's very, very talented. So in what ways has magic changed your life for the better?
Well, I mean, this morning I won $6,000 with my wealth and dignities
That's
magic.
Right.
And
he really did, guys. I saw the screenshot. He did.
And that was actually not really my big doing. A little bit was King Barkon, yeah. But it was mainly because of Asmodee being pleased about me having him packed with certain people and being the one to facilitate it. When Asmodee is happy for you, man, things really go well. And when he's not happy with you, man, that's bad. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Just how magic has changed your life for the better.
Oh, balling out of control. Now I don't know if you ever noticed this, but I have some teeth issues from where I lost some teeth in a fight here in the Philippines. Now I've got the money to go and get those taken care of and do a full restoration of top and bottom.
There you go. Awesome.
Fine, brother. And it's changed my life. When I was homeless, I learned how to make things appear, like manifesting McDonald's, manifesting enough money to get by. It has failed me at some very, very horrible moments where I needed it to work and it didn't. And that made me say, well, fuck this. If it's not going to work when I need it to, then I'm just not going to do it. And like a child, I stormed off for a couple of years and then came back when I got my attitude back together. It's changed my life for the better. But since I turned to the left-hand path, I truly hit my stride. I truly became who I was supposed to be. I live a life of conscience, virtue, integrity, honor, strength, self-determinism. Those are the things that I try to live my life with. And I believe you can do all that and be on the left-hand path and not just be a sinister, self-gratifying, pleasure-indulgent, motherfucker that's all. Hedonism is all that they understand. No, that's not really us. That's a Levian concept of the left-hand path, which involves carnal pleasure and stuff. My man said it best: without discipline, there's no power. And that's a fact, man. What's your next question, brother?
And what areas of life do you find inspiration in for magic?
Friendship is one of the most inspiring things that I think I've ever seen, because friendship is a bridge between two people. Mm-hmm. And this bridge can be cultivated, and it can be built out of three elements: like, trust, and respect. Mm-hmm. And if you have those three elements, a friendship can bloom. And a friendship is one of the most magical things in nature. And to take a hostile, bitter enemy and make them your friend through mm-hmm. magic and living the right way and through being the right person, man, that's a real act of magic. When I had my third teacher who hated me, when I finally conceded that it was over, made my amends, asked to be a student, it took mm-hmm. a year for him to be decent to me, to see that I was genuine. But I was always bringing him McDonald's in the morning, bringing him a newspaper, some cigarettes and shit. Hey, I would never ask for anything in return. I just here, I thought you might like this. I had to be a friend in order to turn an enemy into a friend. Mm-hmm. And it was the greatest act of magic I think I've ever seen. It was a really beautiful experience of gaining a real friend. In this world that we live in, man, my treasures are people.
Yeah, relationships. Well said. Yeah, magic will give you the power to destroy your enemies, either by making them your friend or giving you the capacity to not give a fuck about them and move on with your life. Yeah. So who are some of your biggest influences in magic?
Milo Duquette, Aleister Crowley, mm-hmm. Ophiel, mm-hmm. Franz Bardot, Michael Aquinas, Constantine, Donald Michael Craig,
you're naming all the classics. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, Peter de Abano, Henry Cornelius Agrippa. Mm-hmm. I really, really was into. I can't remember the name on it though. I'll have to pass there. But those were my heroes. Those were the ones that.
A lot of good, strong influences there. So speaking of being strong, what are your strengths when it comes to magic? Not necessarily your favorite things to do, but what are you just really good at doing?
Well, I'm going to be totally honest with you here, and I don't recommend that anybody do exactly what I do. This is not one of these do as I say, but not as I do things. This is a do not do as I say or do. Okay. Mm-hmm. I like to really get fucking drilled with my chemicals of choice. I mean, until it feels like I can fly, like I'm hovering off the ground, like the spirits I can hold, like bing, 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 like it's all, and I'm so high. There's no fear. There's no self-doubt. There's no misgivings. There's absolutely nothing except what's going to happen next. And the entire universe is waiting for me to intone those syllables and make it so. Yes. That is the greatest strength. When I go in and I have absolutely no fear or no doubt or no regret, no pity, no remorse, no shame, no guilt, nothing except success. Mm-hmm. If you can do that without chemicals, rock out. I prefer to do it with. It is what it is. You can tell me I'm wrong. You can tell me that's a crutch. Tell me, and I'll tell you, well, whatever the fuck it is. I like doing it, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, if you're not having fun, magic, you're not doing it right. Now, there are spirits that get pissed with me, like, you shouldn't really do that all the time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you're a negative Nancy, all right. That's my strength. Weakness is the next question, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
I have 2 or 3 times a year where I get a crippling bout of imposter syndrome.
Hmm.
And it's like I absolutely think, I get up and I think this is all absolutely horse shit. Who the fuck am I fooling? What kind of psychic am I? What kind of magician am I? Can I do anything? Can I stop the dog from barking? Can I stop the baby from crying? I can do none of these things. So why should anyone call me any wise master of any kind? No, in fact, I'm probably some kind of fraud, and this tortures me and eats me alive. I can't do anything. I have to shut myself away and go through my notebooks and read all the documentation of what I have done and who I have done it for and when I have done it. And then finally, even I have to say, well, Jesus, I couldn't make all this shit up, not for this long, you know. Maybe I am, and then I read that imposter syndrome happens to the most competent people among us. I don't know, but it happens a few times a year. That's a big weakness. Another big weakness of mine, magically, would be energy work. It's not something I'm real strong with. And I don't like to venture outside of the paradigm of Sitra, Akra, and Kedusha. I don't see the need to. I just don't. It's the greatest thing that I've ever seen. People can dismiss it as mere Jewish mysticism. I'm sorry. I don't see it that way. It's a filing cabinet for ideas.
Well said.
Next question.
Who are some of your favorite entities to work with? Some of your favorite spirits or deities to work with?
I try not to work with deities, and I'm going to tell you why. They are fickle motherfuckers. You can go from being the cat's meow and having everything go from sugar to shit real quick with them. You can cause an offense that you didn't even know offended them. And now all the privileges that you had are taken away. That not every god is going to go straight with you. They're going to act like they're helping you, but really they're not. There's too many different ulterior motives. I tell people this: when a spirit comes to you and whispers, pleasant words and honeyed words about what it can do for you, make sure you understand what angle it's playing. If you can't see the angle, you're in a lot of danger. If you think you know what the angle is, well, you're not in as much danger, but it's still, you could be wrong. The only spirit that is absolutely per pact bound to give a fuck about you or your needs is a blood pacted patron. That's it. Nobody else has the obligation to give a shit about you or me. I work with my patrons, Baal, Orobus, my guide Azazel. I work with Prince Sitri, my mentor, and I work with Archangel Halo, which is like the deity or divinity of my pantheon, the Infernal. I try to stay close to it, and I don't like to go outside of it. I like working with Agares. I like working with Agares is great. Laraj, he's a lot of fun. Me and him, we love to light shit on fire together. Asmodeus, he can be a real hoot. I'm actually writing a book about this right now. It's my second book, which is Mike B's. Hold on, what was the name of it? Mike B's excellent experiences with the Goetic spirits and bogus journeys through Goetic hell. And I'm documenting, I'm documenting my experiences with each spirit so that people can kind of know what I've been through with them. Some of it's funny, some of it's not, some of it's ugly, but it's the real thing, Those are the ones I like. Infernals, mainly Infernals. I dealt with one last night named Canorn. This thing has 400 legions of infernal fallen angels. 400. When you go to it, it will demand that you go without any guards, wards, spirit guides, anything. You're going to go completely buck-ass naked. And you're like, well, man, this thing could fuck me up. And he says, yeah, I could do that anyway if I really wanted. So like, when I kind of realized that, I kind of did what he asked, and I'm not going to tell you what he asked of me because I can't. That's a secret. But man, this dude really will grant your wishes for real. Rock out. Next question.
What are some recommended practices for intermediate practitioners?
The magic mirror of Franz Bardon. A polar mirror which you document your strengths and weaknesses via the 4 elements. Fire, I am intemperate, I am impetuous. Water, I tend towards self-doubt and melancholy. Air, I am lackadaisical and mercurial and ambivalent. earth, I tend towards sloth and overeating. Okay, those would be negative qualities of each element. And then there are positive ones that you also write in this magic mirror. You need to know what the fuck is up with you, because if you don't, man, if you don't, you have no idea what you need to improve upon. And you have no way to even know how people are going to play you. And I mean, magicians and stuff. There's a lot of politics, spirits.
Yeah.
I would say that exercise, your clairs. If you want to be a company, man, I really think you should have your clairs together first.
Yeah.
And you really need to have your basic rituals down pat, all of them. Your celestial, your Kedusha, and your infernal. They need to be a real part of your everyday practice. By the time you're intermediate, you should have your own practice anyway and be building it and evolving it. Protocol, hygiene. Man, that's what I think. Yeah. Next question.
What's the hardest part about being a practitioner, do you think?
Just being a practitioner or being a professional practitioner?
Let's make it a two-part question. If there's two answers, we can make that a two-part one.
To be a practitioner, the hardest part is to keep it real with myself all the time, because I understand that the path is paved with madness. This is the card, the moon, and there's a lot of danger. We are talking literally about attainment through growth and attainment through force of will, taking heaven by violence, essentially. Now, with a flower that sits in the sun and opens under the sun's rays, that's attainment through growth. We attempt to take force of will and force attainment. And in that process, we can destroy ourselves if we're not really, really self-honest, strong, and resilient. We can destroy ourselves totally for many lifetimes. In fact, that happens to many of us. So always being honest about what your limitations are. And I'm not always honest with myself, but I know who is. Arovis. And when Arovis says, hey man, you're fucking up, I say, okay, if he's saying I'm fucking up, normally if one person says I'm an asshole, I think, okay, whatever. Two people say I'm an asshole, okay, whatever. But if everyone's calling me an asshole, I think maybe I need to examine what I'm doing, and that's how I do it. Now, to be a professional, the hardest part is you'll never do any magic for yourself. You won't have time. If you are worth your weight in salt, you will be so busy that you will never have time to really do this, that, or the other thing because of the demands of your practice. And I raised prices. I did everything I could to lower my volume, and I'm still maxed. I'm not going to raise them to the point. It's a good
problem to have, it sounds like. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it is a good problem to have, and it's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. This month was a little lax, but the last 7 or 8 have been straight growth, one after the other, bigger than the other. So the hardest part is prioritizing your time.
Yeah, that's a good one. Now, how important is silence to you in your practice?
When we learned the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, the training, I've said this before and I'll say it again, the training methods of the Golden Dawn and the right-hand path Rosicrucian schools and the Safed schools of the Kabbalists are goddamn near the same thing that we in the left-hand path use. All right? When we throw our fingers through the center of the vanishing star, Yod He Vav He, we leave the right hand out and the left hand comes back in the sign of silence. Okay? This is to stop an echo of reflecting backwards. This keeps all the force going in one direction and is a chuck stop to that force silence is. Silence, my friend, is what keeps all things separate, yet binds them together as one. Yes, the all one itself, true divinity that cannot be expressed in anything other than silence, that which is beyond light and dark, male and female, that which did produce the moist from the dry, and the rest of it, that he who just produced mankind to love one another and to hate one another, that thing, that terrible and amazing dweller that we don't even understand. We can't even understand. That thing can only be expressed in silence, really. There are all one divine creators, divinity, which is double polarity, Kedusha and Sitra Achra, There are big gods, Osiris, Set, and whatever, medium-sized gods, little gods, and mini gods. That's how we know that. Silence is a very important part of my practice. I don't discuss workings of my clients until they are finished, because other people's doubt can poison your work. If other people don't need to know something, then don't tell them. That's simple. People only know what you tell them. So shut the fuck up,
Absolutely.
A lot better with women if they would just shut the fuck up and let her do the talking, because we routinely disqualify ourselves from being able to have sex with beautiful women because we say something that they consider to be edgy or dangerous or ugly, and we disqualify ourselves. If we could just smile and be quiet and let her do the talking, we would be a lot better off. That's per Laurel Spider, by the way.
What are some things that we should avoid as practitioners?
We should avoid bondage within our relationships with spirits. If a spirit says, I don't want you to work with any other spirit but me for a certain amount of time, it needs to be for a reason. Otherwise, they're controlling. So we need to stop ourselves. We need to stop accepting other people's limitations, first of all, and then challenge our own limitations. That would be the most important thing, I would say. Because like the biggest stumbling blocks to success, like I didn't believe I could break 6K in my sphere of availability. Like I did this 2 months ago. You remember this? 2 months ago, I did the same goddamn thing, but I only won like a few thousand, 4,000, and I did it again. So I keep doing the goddamn thing. I hit 900 the other day. So is it like, what, I'm just really lucky, or is it my prosperity magic really on point? Yeah, we just limitations, sphere of availability, what your beliefs are. If you don't control your thoughts and beliefs, man, then who does?
Well said. Okay. This is sort of an over-asked question, but I like to get it from different perspectives because the Qliphoth is so subjective. I like to ask a lot of different people, describe how the Qliphoth might affect somebody, or perhaps describe how it specifically affected you when you were working through it.
I nearly quit the project on my first time through 3 times. It was simply too intense. I'd woke up crying, having the most awful nightmares that you can even imagine. Nightmares that lasted for years of dream time, living other lives in different identities and bodies, waking up back in this life and remembering this life and saying, holy shit, I can't believe I'm here. I just lived an entire other life. I almost quit 3 times because it was so incredibly painful. What can it do to you? You need to first understand this. Everything that you're seeing is you. You're seeing yourself reflected back at you. So when we say it's subjective, but it's objective too. It's both. It's absolutely both. You are seeing the parts of you that you couldn't fucking deal with, man. Like all the shit that I can't deal with about Mike B, that I have to put on to somebody else because I can't look myself in a mirror and square it. I just can't. The things that I do that I know I shouldn't, the lies that I tell myself, the ones that I tell others, the evil that I do even without intending to, the things that I cannot stop myself from doing no matter how hard I try, all that goes on to my shadow, and that gets in secret. And this shadow has like nearly all God power over this world. This shadow, the world is like a twisted nightmare of this entity. Everywhere you go, it's penmanship. It can make you crazy. You can die. You can have a complete change of sexual identity. Look, if your shadow confronts you and defeats you in Sitra Akra, you will lose the control over the faculty of volition in your being, in your mind. Volition, that which drives you to act based upon your own thoughts. When the shadow defeats you soundly, man, that's it. You are the shadow now. It's like Red Spider-Man and Black Spider-Man fight, and whoever wins gets to be the real Spider-Man. Well, if Black Spider-Man wins, man, buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. You're going to have all of those traits are going to come to the surface, and you're not even going to be yourself anymore. You're going to be a wild motherfucker if you have repressed sexuality issues. Your shadow might be gay. And then the shadow becomes gay, then the person has a gay awakening, and then all of a sudden now they're gay. And everyone's like, but you didn't seem gay before. Well, I am today. Kind of shit. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it happen. And it's not like being gay is the worst thing in the world. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there are severe changes that can happen to a person's mind, body, and spirit. And sexual orientation and identity are key core concepts within us that make us who we are. And when there's change to that, it really unsettles us.
Absolutely. Speaking of being unsettled, how does one recognize spiritual imbalances within themselves?
You tend to make the same mistakes over and over again. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. No, go ahead.
If you like, I have a problem. I'll give you one of mine. This is clear cut. It has to be me. I'm the only common denominator in this dynamic.
There you go.
I have taught several motherfuckers from beginner to intermediate. Nearly every single time I have handed a person the keys to the kingdom of spirit, they have stabbed me in the fucking back. Almost every single time, bro. Without fail, like clockwork. And I say at the end, et tu, Brute? I gave you the keys to the kingdom of spirit, and this is how you do me? Are you serious? I'm not even going to do anything for you. I'm going to spit you from my mouth like lukewarm water and never fuck with you again. You're on your own. But I realized that this is something about my own karma or my own spiritual imbalance that's creating the conditions for this to happen. Because if it wasn't me, it's got to be. What else could it be? So a spiritual imbalance, can have you drinking too frequently, engaging in wrath or engaging in lustful activities too quickly. You'll notice it because, look, man, this is what I was told. When drugs, alcohol, wild sex, a partying lifestyle, when you have a problem, it's because these things are causing you problems. I don't have money to pay rent. I got in a fight with my girlfriend and she dumped me. I had sex with these two chicks and now I have an STD. I failed a drug test at work and I'm fired. Okay, now these things are causing you fucking problems. You have a problem. That's the definition of a problem, having one. An imbalance spiritually lends us to problem behaviors and problem activities, which, if unchecked, will create problems. And then you have to say, well, if I'm having problems, then I need to look at why. And really, ideally, your friends are going to be your mirror. They're going to be the one you can look in the mirror and say, what's going on, man? And they'll say, yeah, man, you've been hitting stuff a little too hard lately, man. And they say, okay, that's your friend telling you that, man. It's time to ease down back a little bit. Take a couple weeks off, It's a lot easier to hear it like that. Otherwise, man, society will begin to take corrective action if you continue to go outside of bounds. It will become a problem. It will become major social or family problems to the point where you're a pariah, where you're losing friends and associates and looking bad, getting a bad reputation. Those are some of the ways that this can escalate if you don't stop. And you know what, man? You should never, ever be afraid to say, hey, man, I'm sorry. I think I made a fucking mistake. Those words. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Let me make it right. I know that's not what you thought it was important.
No, you're touching on a very important point, which is that an adept will generate adept level problems for themselves. Yeah. And that's why it's important to keep that balance.
I had a situation where I was not putting my back into a few jobs, and it was about a week, maybe 7 days, 10 days that I just hadn't been putting my back into it. And I know the difference between what I need to do and doing the bare minimum. And I knew I was wrong, man. And I knew I was wrong. And it caused a major shitstorm with one of my pantheon, who basically tricked me into discovering what was wrong, who it was wrong with, and why it was wrong. And when I figured the whole thing out, man, because it smelled like Citra Opera, I thought I was getting attacked. I was like, holy shit, what's going on? I had to piece it together to find out what was happening and who I offended. Turns out it was Halo who was offended. Why? He says, man, because you're not going to be out here carrying our flag representing the left, like this, if you're not going to really be putting your back into it. You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. That's just not going to be. You need to decide, is your work worth it or not? Did these people pay you for the bare minimum, or did they pay you for your best work? And I knew immediately that I had fucked up. And I went back and I fixed every single job that I fucked up on. I didn't have to make any apologies to anyone because no one knew anything, but I knew. And I knew I needed to fix it. And when I did fix it, man, that was a serious problem, an adept level problem, because, man, like, they giveth and they taketh away hard, You don't fuck him around, man, because he's like, you're going to make us all look bad if you continue like that. And I'm like, why am I doing this though? Like, what caused me to do that? Like, I thought I wasn't feeling well or something. It all starts with a thinking error. You got to watch it like a motherfucking hawk. It doesn't matter how I feel today. I have to do this, this, and this. And I'm going to do it because it's my work to the best of my ability. People come to me for my work from across different fucking forums in cyberspace. Why? Because my work is the fucking truth. It's the file. And when it ceases being that, brother, then I will no longer be able to hold this flag or keep this throne, and it will go to someone else. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Love it, get shit, or get off the pot, brother. And that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I liked what you said about finding the common denominators between your issues and that being an outlier for when it's you. That's a really good tip. Do you have any, if you had to list 3 pieces of major literature for an intermediate to check out, off the top of your head, if you could think of 3, what would they be?
Magic in Theory and Practice by Aleister Crowley. In the book on Introduction to Hermetics, Initiation into Hermetics by Franz Bardon.
I had a feeling you were going to say that one.
The exercises in that book are going to build you from the ground up. If you just get into the game and want to start evoking spirits, man, you're going to get fucked up, possessed, chewed up, spit out, and booed off stage. If you're not a magician first and foremost yourself, you should be able to do any goddamn thing that you are asking a spirit to do. If you are asking a spirit to do anything, you are making a partnership, building a better relationship, and easing a little bit of your burden while taking on some of theirs. That's all that's happening. And if you're not doing that, you're going there with your hat in your hand saying, please give me favors. Your priority level to them is not real high. They don't give a fuck about people that do that. Would anybody? Yeah. So the third book would be Ophiel, The Art and Practice of Visualization.
Those are 3 very strong suggestions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there
Magic and Theory and Practice? You really do. You might not like it. Yeah, man. Everybody wants to be an adept. They want it like they want air and water. They want it so badly that it's all that they dream of since they were a little boy. And they work their entire lives, and most of us will never, ever see that attainment. Adeptus means he who has attained. It's Latin. We know that. What has he attained? Oh, the knowledge of the holy guardian angel? No, man, that's just a right-hand path buzzword. Knowledge of your own divinity and your higher and lower self. And when you have attained that, all right, that's when that magical act actually happens. You're never going to give yourself that title, because if you're giving yourself titles like these assholes on YouTube, bro, you don't deserve that fucking title. To be an adept is truly so much that I will never feel worthy of that title, ever. And neither does any adept that I know, because we have seen real adepts come before us that really knew their shit, and a lot of us feel like a shadow compared to them. So guys, it's not about giving yourself titles. It's not about glorifying yourself. It's about empowering other people to live their dreams. And when you do that, you will be exalted yourself. I promise you. If you are of service to your fellow man and you do your best to help him live his dreams and better himself, it will make you indispensable, and it will make you exalted among the spirits of your pantheon and all pantheons and the people that you serve. That's real talk. And that's facts. That's all I got.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you for coming on here, man. Make sure that you guys stop by the Temple of the Backwards Tree and maybe check out some of his services. He knows what he's doing, guys. I'm not kidding. So appreciate you having me on, and have a good rest of the day, man.
That's coming from another professional magician, man. That's a really high compliment, and I feel the same way about you. You are a very competent magician, and the problem in this business, and I don't mean to cut you off, is there are too many people that are not able to perform at a level that we need to in order to offer services to other people. And they do it out of ego, they do it from financial reasons, whatever. If you're not clearing 75% results, successful and satisfying consistently, then you shouldn't be doing this with the public. Bottom line. Yeah. Bottom line. Anyway, that's all I got. Good night.
Good night.